Bam guys, the show's just about to start. I apologize for any inconvenience for you guys. OBS ended up crashing on me. Hopefully you guys are having a much better evening start. And we are going live. What's up, Bam? This is Chris Mizo here. I love to talk about PC and tech, and hopefully you saw all the exciting news with new motherboards, new handheld devices that are coming out soon, and of course Intel's new generation when it comes to their processors. Hopefully they come out pretty decent with the Nova Lake refresh, which we're all looking forward to. I hope that we all are. And I gotta hear from everybody out there if you're looking forward to doing a PC build anytime soon, especially with these new B850 refreshes, and also with these X870E boards that are getting refreshed as well. Expect the same when it comes to the Z890s or the B860s, but hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully the chat is nice and connected here for the most part. It seems that YouTube's been a bit finicky when it's come to the whole OBS side. It's been really weird for some reason. I'm sure if anybody out there has been streaming, it seems like it's been kind of weird for the whole week for the most part. But expect that these new handhelds are coming out very soon. Expect with MSI already has theirs out already in Europe, which is their Z2. It's going pretty much the third generation when it comes to their handheld, and we are still waiting on a response for ASUS's ROG Ally X Box X Edition, I guess you can call it, and that should be somewhat soon. Where we can't really make any pre-orders for that quite yet. Lenovo's Legion Go 2 is certainly up for pre-order as it is. Hopefully you've seen it on X as I have it shared. It's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to be featured. What I'm really curious about is Windows' new take when it comes to their game edition type of OS, and see if less resources are being used when it is when you actually are in gaming with it. Hopefully Windows is a bit more cooperative, we can say. So thank you, Al. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate the awesome comment. And yes, so if you're thank you for the compliments here. I actually had to readjust everything. Originally had set everything into ultra-wide, but finally everything is out of the whole ultra-wide mode. But I do appreciate the comment out there. Hopefully anybody out there, if you're thinking of building a PC, I would love to know what some of your ideas are. Personally, for me, I'm really excited to see for the 9600 X3D to eventually be released. It's not going to be released within this month. I definitely expect it more to release around November, and perhaps we can do the stealth build around something like that. I kind of want to wait for that before doing the stealth build, because that's just an idea. But if you guys want to just go ahead and continue with this stealth build without it, just let me know. We'll talk about it a bit more, kind of have an idea on the type of chassis that we're going to use for this type of PC build. So I'm confused to get whether a RTX 5090 or a RX 9070 XT. So it all depends on what type of usage you're going to be using it for, and what do you want to use the GPU for. Are you going to be using it for mostly gaming, or are you going to be using it for some sort of content creation, or what type, or are you going to be more of a gamer type streamer? Let me know. Let me know what you want to do with your PC, and is this going to be your first build? So that's a great question out there. But anybody out there who is thinking of getting a GPU, if you're already been you're familiar with how PC gaming is as it is, and say if you are currently on like a RX 2070, or if you're on a RTX 2070, or if you're on an RTX 3060, just say, and you're thinking and tempted to join the AMD side, you'd be pleasantly surprised. Personally, to me, out of all the cards that I've tried gaming wise, I gotta say the most impressive this year for 2025 has certainly been the RX 9070 XT. Has the best price to performance, and you can really take advantage of all the features that AMD really has to offer with their GPU. It's not like how it used to be where AMD was really glitchy and really weird where it wasn't working properly, but AMD has certainly improved tenfold to where their drivers are really reliable and their FSR4 is quite amazing. So I'm not a tech guy, so I don't know what you I see what you're saying. You don't know which manufacturer is better, you're trying to say. So I got the 9070 XT. I'm trying to stream and game. Will it be good enough? Absolutely. You can certainly stream and game off of a RX 9070 XT. If you are trying to, the more important thing I would say is more the processor side. Depends on the type of processor that you have. I would say anything under, like maybe under like a 9800 X3D, just say, I would say is a bit questionable. You still could do it. It's not going to stream as well. You might have to drop a couple settings there for it to work properly, but it certainly can be done. You want to have more cores, especially if you're doing something like streaming, because you're going to practically be multitasking. So, Vandit, did you watch the new CDs they dropped? Which CDs are you talking about, Vandit? Are you talking about don't get the quick initial for that? But if so, Al, are you using it more for something like gaming and streaming, or are you going to be using it for some sort of content creation? That's the question that I have for you, because then I could give you a more tailored answer. I get that you're not as much of a tech guy, but let me know what you're going to be using it for. So, I wanted to go with 9800 X3D, but let me see. I wanted to go 9800 X3D, but seems expensive. So I should get the 9800 X3D. So yes, absolutely get the 9800 X3D. That would definitely be the better choice for you, for sure. If you're going to be doing something like content creation and streaming, you can go all across the board with something like that. You can multi-stream. You could go through different, you could go through YouTube. You could go through Twitch. And you can go through like Kick or whatever platform that you would like to multi-stream on. You can certainly do it. The most important part as well is going to be how fast your internet connection is going to be. So if you have a better internet connection, what's going to be important is the upload speed. So you definitely want to check that out. I highly suggest anybody out there who is thinking of like joining the whole streaming space, you want to make sure to get something that's fiber optic. If it's fiber optic, you certainly will have a much better chance, especially if you're planning to multi-stream. That would be the better choice. If you're not, if you just prefer just a single platform, then you can just use one type of network, like something like cable or fiber optics in order to do so. But I can tell you, if anybody has Comcast out there, just to let you know, they do have a cap on their internet, especially if you have your own modem and you have your own setup like I do. And if you do, they cap at like 1.2 terabytes. Of course, you can purchase more internet if you want more internet data usage, where it's like an extra $30 a month, I think it is, if you want something like that. But I wanted to, so if you wanted to go the 9800 X3D, that certainly would be a great choice. So what kind of specs do you currently have for your current PC? So another couple things for anybody who is interested in building a PC, some quick notes. They currently do have some refresh boards that are certainly coming out. Hopefully you guys got to see the new Gigabyte X3D boards, which is pretty exciting. This is going to be their refresh on their boards. I know ASUS has also shown their refreshes, which is going to be their tough gaming. They're just going to simply call it kind of like the I think the B852, just kind of like a sequel to the original. So they're just going to add 2 to pretty much everything that they have. Gigabytes again is X3D. MSI more than likely will have their version of it depending on what it is. Another thing I'm certainly getting highly interested in is BTF motherboards, because BTF motherboards are the type where you don't have to use the front connection. Instead, they have all the connections in the back of the motherboard, so that way it makes the PC look a lot cleaner in that direction. So, oh, you don't have a PC. What's up, Casey Walls? Good to see you. I just scored a 5080 9800 X3D system from Micro Center for $1,600. Oh, that's awesome. That's actually a great deal. What kind of PC is it, by the way? Is it CyberPower? I wonder if, is that what you ended up getting, Casey? And I don't have a PC. Oh, so, well, at least now you know what to get started with if you go ahead and get a PC, or if you're planning to do a PC build. Yeah, go 9800 X3D is the way to go, and get a 9070 XT. You certainly won't be disappointed. And I also have to ask, are you going to be gaming on a 1440p display, something like an ultra-wide, or do you want to game on 4K? That's another question that also matters as well. Now, last question, what CPU should I get? Ryzen 7 9800 X3D or the i9 14900K? That's actually a great question now. It all depends on your usage. If you're going to be using it for something like you're very heavy into, like, say, photo editing, and you're very heavy into video editing, then I would say it's better to go with Intel's 14900K in that sense. But if you do choose to go with Raptor Lake's refresh, which is, again, the 14900K, it's good to also make sure that you update the motherboard that you have, because more than likely it's a possibility it could be out of date, and when it is, you can cause higher voltages from Intel's processor. So specifically between the 13th and the 14th gen, they will have this issue, so you want to make sure to update that motherboard. Now, if you go, and AMD would be the better choice if you're more focused into the gaming side. Of course, you could obviously stream on it as well. So this would be a better combination, especially for those out there who are inspiring to be some sort of gaming and creator type of usage, and not really into doing as much Photoshop, or not into doing more video editing, which, again, you could do it. It just won't be as efficient as Intel's when it comes to that realm. So I wanted to build a micro ATX build. Is it worth it? A micro ATX build is actually worth doing, especially if you feel like you're going to be, say, constantly moving it around. Just to note, if you feel that you're not going to be using as much ports, that is going to be the disadvantage of using something that is micro ATX. Most micro ATX or ITX boards, they're going to have a limit to, say, like 2 slots for RAM, which really don't matter. Most people only use 2. Same thing with the PCI Express. You might have a limit. Same thing with the NVMe. It's just because everything is micro size when it comes to something like a ITX or a micro ATX board, then you will be limited to that. But if you feel like you're the type of person that's not going to really do too much changing out or adding anything to that motherboard, then I wouldn't really worry about it as much. If you just say add a 4 terabyte drive and you're already happy with it, doesn't really matter. You choose to upgrade it to 8 terabytes in the future, then it won't matter. But if you're the kind of person that constantly likes to expand on their motherboard, like add, like, say, 3 different drives, like 3 different solid state drives, then that's where it can be a bit more less flexible, because then you won't have the ability to add the additional storage space that you would like. Now, chat, don't believe a word he says. So, let me see. Ooh, there's a lot of action over here, so let's block him. So that's easy. 9800 X3D, 14900KS are failing. So just got a 9070 XT for $699. I'm trying to find, like, a bundled deal. So do you actually have a Micro Center close to you? If you do, let me know. I would say that would probably be a good place to look in the first place. It's a bit since you have the GPU, usually Micro Center, and recently Best Buy has bundles to where you could actually bundle the motherboard, the RAM, and I believe it comes with a SSD as well. And we could definitely take a look together for that. So more likely 1440p. Okay, so if that's the case, then we can definitely take a look. B850M Gigabyte, that's what I was looking at. That's definitely a great choice to go with. Gigabyte boards are highly reliable, definitely one of the top on the list. I highly recommend them. Also, ASUS is also just as good. So we could go ahead. Oh, so Micro Center is pretty far from you, about 3 hours away. How about I'm sure you could go on Newegg or on you prefer maybe Amazon. All depends on your preference. Also, if anybody wants to personally know, oh, it's an inland pre-built. Oh wow, yeah. Sometimes it's a bit cheaper to get a pre-built because again they're just trying to get rid of it off their shelf, and that's actually that's honestly a great deal. Thank you. That's a big mug. Got my nice drink ready to go. Thanks to my wife. And nope, 3 hours away. So just maxed out my PC 9900K. Oh, okay. That's actually it's still a very relevant processor, but according to Borderlands 4, I'm sure you heard what they had to say. The creator of or the owner really of it says that if you don't like the way Borderlands 4 runs, build your own game or code your own game, which is a pretty crazy thing to say to your customers. But I gotta say, yeah, take advantage of it. 9900K RTX 3080, 64 gigabytes of DDR4. So best price performance bundle deals at Micro Center was the 7600 X3D. Definitely a great deal. Hopefully you were there, Casey, when we all got to see Ricky buy his bundle deal at Micro Center, which was a pretty awesome deal. He ended up getting a 14700K, but they also did have that same thing, the 7600 X3D bundle, and but yeah, they definitely have one of the top bundles to get. Newegg is something that I highly recommend to take a look at their motherboards because they're actually going to have their sale soon. I'm pretty sure they're going to have their Fantastic Tech, it's called. And when they do, that's usually between early October once they start doing their sales. And I bet you could probably find some really great deals then. What's up, Viali? Good evening. Good we don't have a Micro Center in the UK. It would bankrupt me. Absolutely. Micro Center is definitely the place that you would want to go every time. It's just, they really do provide the best deals, especially in a local store. Compared to Best Buy, no offense to Best Buy, but we all know when you go into Best Buy, it feels like you're in the land of the Walking Dead because everything is like at least a year old already. And the good thing is Micro Center is way more up to date when it comes to their tech when it comes to PC hardware. Now their PCs, like their pre-builds, aren't as bad. They obviously have some advantages when it comes to the handhelds and some of the deals that they have with some of these PC companies such as ASUS, like the ROG Ally Xbox Series. When that comes out, the Xbox Series, or it's such a weird name, I still can't get that name correct. Xbox ROG Ally Edition X or Ally X. It's really the Ally X Xbox Edition, right? So, but we really have only the online here in the UK. So, what's about the Minis Form CPU mobile combo as a 1632 X3D mobile chip? Yeah, that's actually a very good combination. 16 cores and 32 threads is actually excellent for X3D. What I'm really curious about too is I'm curious to see how it's going to be. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but AMD also advertised that as long as if you have an AMD processor, again, it's actually what touches on what Casey is talking about is the fact that they talked about their 9955X 3D, I think it is, but it's their mobile version. I think it's the HX9955X3D. That's the full total name of it. And they say you can get up to 1,000 frames, which is insane. In fact, let me pull up that image because it's pretty hilarious. And as long as if you have it, you can get it. From what the claim is. Well, here's the image. It's actually on a website on video cards. I'll share it with you guys right here. And looks just like that. 1,000 frames. As long as if you have it. Isn't that insane? You can get, but it's like a couple of games that they have on there for specifically, which is right here. And the games that they really mention are like pretty much like the competitive shooters such as Counter-Strike Source, not Source, but Counter-Strike 2, or like Dota 2, or like games like that. I can see it because it's not a very high demanding game, but it's also important to also have a very good GPU in order to like push to the limit. And it's more than likely running at 1080p, I would assume. The 7945HX 3D. Oh, wow. Yeah, that I bet that is just as good. Because let's go in right there. Let me shrink this down a bit because it's a bit large the way this is. Right here. So you guys can see it. I'll shrink it down on the vertical side because I know it's a bit crazy. Because everything seems to be supersized. There you go. Here it is. So yeah, so features, okay, so it's claiming with the 5080. 9070 XT, you can get it with a couple of games. And I'll try to shrink it down on the vertical side. Right there. Well, probably best to get it like right there. Can you find an ASUS CPU motherboard bundles? Certainly, I can certainly help you out. We'll definitely take a look at that. The bundle is $511 on Newegg right now. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look on Newegg. We're gonna go on Newegg together, guys, and let's see what they do offer. So they do have an AMD bundle. Oh, right here, matter of fact. But this one's $870. Again, we could definitely find more deals. So we're gonna go click into it. Let me scroll over to that side so you guys can see it a bit better. And let's see more options here. So here goes some ideas. This is what I really like about Newegg. They have different ideas of what type of processors you prefer. And you could even build your own combo. So for what Newegg's combo is, if you up to $50 off with a selected processor. So any of these processors that they do have on board, which are, this is the Intel side, obviously we want AMD. So we could click AMD here. And if you want to go for, say, the 9800X 3D, it actually comes with a CPU air cooler with this. So that's a bonus. So you get about $10 off if you choose this. Again, we'll compare the bundles here, because $479 is pretty high. Let's see if we can get a better deal. So they do have the 7800X 3D, which is practically very similar. So let me see. So let's try going with the 7800X 3D desktop CPU processor, as again, that's like $100 off nearly. And this still comes with a cooler. So this is definitely the better deal when it comes to the options here. So let's go over to the motherboard side and see what they offer. And for the motherboard, we want to get ASUS, right? So if we want to get an ASUS board here. So, oh, you want a Ryzen 9. I see you, Bronson. I apologize for anybody that I haven't seen. It wasn't synced into the social stream. Let me sync you guys in real quick right now. Let's see. There we go. You guys should be thrown. I apologize to Real MVP. I'm just seeing you now. I'm seeing all your messages. I apologize to all the other guys that I didn't get to see. But I do like Casey's message. He says he found a 511 deal. So let's get 378 plus, let's see. If we get a Strix board, we could either get a Strix board or we can get a ROG board. So obviously the better deal, they have the Tough Gaming X870E. That's a nice motherboard. Now they have the B850 Plus. That's $219. But how much of a discount will we really get? It says up to $100 off with a selected motherboard. So let's find out if it really is that much off if we do combine a good combination. So let's go ROG Strix B650EI. No, not that one. That one's a small motherboard. That's the ITX board. So we want to go, let's say we go B850 Plus here. So here's your build. What's up, Destiny? Good to see you. Dang, you guys, for some reason, it still didn't sync in correctly. I'm looking for something like 850M. The 7945 HX is an amazing price to performance, and TDP is amazing as well as lower utility bills. So here's my build. What do you think? It's awesome. 9950 X3D NZXT 420. I gotta know what your temperatures are. Trident Z. I apologize to everybody out there who doesn't see Bronson. He's just talking about his build. It's a he has a Ryzen 9 9950 X3D with a 420mm Kraken NZXT X870E motherboard, G.Skill Trident Z Neo, 6000 megatransfers, a CL28 gigabyte, CL28 RAM, Gigabyte RTX 5090 AORUS Master, 4 terabytes. Talk about slaying. Oh, I'm doing great. Hopefully you're doing just as good, Destiny. Yeah, and I do like Casey's idea. So we're going to try to combine this and see what type of discount we can get out of it. So we're going to add this all to a cart just to see what it says. So it's about $568 for a combo like this. And it's saying that $219 for the board, which is, I feel like that's pretty much the normal price when it comes to ASUS's Tough B850. Now, when it comes to this, it's like a small discount, nothing too crazy, but it does come with the cooler. That is the benefit. So if you like a combo like this, it does come with MSI Mag's Core Liquid. So I don't know if you're going to feel a bit mixed about it, because when you do bundle this together, you might have a mismatched part, like you'll have an MSI cooler, but it will be a free cooler that comes with your PC kit. So that's one option there. So that's $578. This new egg thing's in the way. So it's $568.97 with 3 items all together in the cart, which isn't too bad. Let's take a look at some more options that we have here. Let's see trending deals right here and see what they have to offer, because we want to see a good motherboard and CPU combo. Here goes some, and we want to see some combos. Here's just straight motherboards. Let's go back in the front page. Probably won't be right here. So let's go to... So really what they're advertising mostly is just like build your own combo, it seems like. So Thermalright AIOs are so cheap, that being included doesn't matter as much to me. I agree, or Thermalright isn't as good. I do agree about that. Let me see if I can get you guys synced in real quick. Let me go check it and see what's going on with this. I'll try auto finding and activating everything here. Let's see, select live sources. Already at it. Oh, here we go. It says already at it. That's so weird. Let me try doing this. There we go. Hopefully that works. So I do agree that Thermalright's AIOs are cheaper. I'm not super well versed in all of this PC stuff. I just told my buddy who is very well educated to build me an overkill goated setup for gaming. Just curious what you think about the... That is insane. For all those parts... Okay, so all these parts, I'm just going to repost it because it is insane, his build. But by the way, Destiny, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm going to repost it here so everybody does see it, which is insane. There you go. Hopefully you guys come up. It's so weird that it's not. TDP 55 watts. That's it. That's insane. That's like 3 times less the power than most of those processors that are currently out there for AMD. But 55 watts is the top. You can really get like a low powered power supply to run that thing for sure. let's see if we can find any other deals real quick. I'm just curious. So it's kind of odd how they already add the whole Fantastic Tech sale. I guess they want to make sure to put it out there because I know that they are trying to compete when it comes to Amazon, because Amazon's doing their Prime deals coming up around the same dates. So what would be the best AM5 CPU for under 250? Actually, we just saw it. I think so first off, I have to ask you, Tony, what type of usage is it going to be? Because that's the tricky question right there. NZXT motherboards are not the most reliable. I 100% agree, as I feel that NZXT is one of those brands where I was excited when they came out with their motherboards, but I did feel that for some reason, even though they came out with their motherboards, I wouldn't really quite really trust it as much. But then again, it's like, it's going to be very limited compared to a lot of the other manufacturers, especially what I like to call the big three, which is going to be compared to like ASUS, Gigabyte, MSI. It's going to be tough to compete with those motherboards there. So 7500F is the GOAT on AM5. Agreed. It is great. It's funny because they just released that nationally. Just recently, I think just about a couple days ago, when they officially, no, not yet, a couple days ago, it was on a Monday. Gaming and some video editing. So for 250. So how much, okay, so for gaming and some video editing, this is the tricky part. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some AM5 processors here. So we're going to go to the components. We're going to go CPUs and processors, desktops and CPUs. And we're going to try to find, we're going to go and look for that specific price range of under $250. So we're going to check those marks and we're going to make sure it's under AM5. So we're going to apply those settings here. Okay, so we don't want to go with $300 because that's the max range. So let's say we go to the highest price. And we're going to go backwards from there because more than likely, also, we got to make sure it's not a used processor. So we want it sold by Newegg because we want it official and we want to make sure it is new. You could also buy used if you want to take the risk, but I don't usually suggest getting used. 7700X is a good choice. The key is you want to try to get more cores because more cores are definitely going to be a bit more important. I already did the build at 64 gigabytes DDR5. That's awesome. Also, to mention to anybody out there, just make sure you join the Discord channel down in the description box down below. Feel free to show off your builds. And I will certainly go to the Discord and look for it. And then I will show it onto the channel. Oh, awesome. I appreciate it, Wasabi. Let me know how the comments work. I haven't really seen like too many comments on X. So 9950X3D versus i9-14900KS. So if you were to compare the two, I would say between the 9950X3D versus the 14900KS, it all depends. Again, it depends on usage. If you're more of a gamer and a editor, then 9950X3D is the way to go. If you're more of a Photoshop person, 14900KS is definitely the way to go to choose. Reason being is because for some reason, and we all know this, is Adobe is more catered to like Intel when it comes to their processors. So everything's more optimized for their systems compared to AMD. Don't get it twisted though. AMD can also still do the same. It can also do just as well. Just know that Adobe likes to cater to Intel. So I'll go to this. Yes, please do, Bronson. I would love to see it. I'm sure everybody here would love to see your build. And if you have a build that you want to show off, feel free to post it up on Discord and I'll bring you up. And pretty soon I'm going to have this new feature within the month that what I will have is we could conduct different interviews, live questions, and we'll definitely be doing a lot more of that too. The Ryzen 9 9900X is a great 12-core CPU. It is great all-rounded CPU, €339 in the UK now. That's actually a great deal for $339. Remember, yes, enable XMP. It's funny because I actually just spoke to this. If everybody remembers Ricky, I was just talking to him to enable his XMP. Hopefully he's done it today. Would it be 850 Tomahawk pair good with that CPU? It can, but the thing... Okay, now let me just say this real quick. Okay, I remember, Tony, you wanted a processor less than 250, right? And we will find one real quick. Which, 8700F, that's kind of sketch. I would say, let's see. Honestly, I would say the better deal. That's honestly not a bad deal, but it's, again, a little bit over budget. You could go 8700F. It's 8 core, 16 threads. If you're very limited on your budget. But if you have to get a motherboard, hopefully you do, then we can put it together. What's up, enthusiastic guy? Honestly, I'd skip the CPU and buy BD795M from Minis Forum, refurbished for $319 right now. It comes with 16 cores and 32 threads, boosted up to... Let's look at this BD795. I'm curious. I am so curious about this. And you said it's on Minis Forum here, the official store. Let's take a look. And you get $30 off if you sign up, everybody. Excuse me. So this is an MATX form. Man, that is pretty neat looking, though, I gotta say. Man, that is... You can tell that's power efficient just by looking at it. Let's take a look at the specs here. Which is a powerful on-board processor, the 7945HX. I just posted my build on Discord, so I'm hoping to upgrade to AM5 soon. Would like help deciding input? Certainly. Again, Tony, feel free to ask questions in Discord as well. If you need any help, I will certainly help you. I can send you some links for your build as well. And but again, if you're still looking for that $250 budget, I'll continue looking for you, see what I could help you find when it comes to CPUs. But if you need a motherboard, let me know. If you have a total budget of everything together, the motherboard, the RAM, and the CPU, let me know. And we can definitely help figure something out. So the motherboard combo, ASUS B850 Max gaming Wi-Fi with bundle with AMD. Okay, that's not too bad. B850 Max gaming, and this has to be on Newegg, because I remember you said you didn't have Newegg close. I mean, you didn't have Micro Center close to you. I'll definitely take a look at that bundle. I'm curious about it. So it's high cost performance, offers 30% cost savings on performance, 2230 key slot. Those are the smaller NVMe's, and it's metal enforced PCI Express, which is good when it comes to installing like a GPU. So so the only trick is I noticed that it's limited to PCI Express 4x16. So if you do put in like a 50 series, or you put in any of the new GPUs, you'll have a little bit of power loss, but not much. It's like a 5% power loss when you hook it up to PCI Express 4, so you wouldn't even really notice it. But that would be the only thing I noticed that you can't take full advantage of. Now, when it comes to storage scalability, it has dual M.2 slots, which is good, assuming PCI Express 4, and has DDR5. It supports standard LGA 1700 cooling. So this is more of... That's kind of odd how they state that, because LGA 1700 is for Intel. Huh. It should say LGA 1817 instead. I mostly don't want to spend more than $500 on a CPU, motherboard, and RAM. Currently waiting for the Micro Center to open up in Phoenix, Arizona. And if it does open up, I will be very happy for you, because that will be the greatest thing that has come to Phoenix, I have to say. I know you would love to be there for certain. And let's go into the Discord channel here. New drops. Well, welcome Bronzeman, welcome Viper. Feel free to post it up. If you posted it, let me know. Did you post it up in general, was it? Here it is. This is Tony M's build, and I'm going to show it on the Discord. Oh, I apologize for that. Right there. This is Tony M's build. That's a pretty nice build, I gotta say. It's interesting though. It's kind of like what we say is a zebra build. You got white case and a black motherboard, black GPU, but it looks good though. It's very interesting looking. It's like almost like a Cyclops look. But I bet you can't wait to upgrade to AM5. I bet that's going to be quite different. Wait till you see the size of the 50 series compared to the 30 series. Because originally when we had the 30 series, we thought that was big. Just wait till you get your hands on the 50 series, I'm telling you. That, or even the 9070, you'd be surprised about the size. So let's go back to the browser here, guys. So Orlando definitely needs one, especially with all the schools around. Yeah, I agree. You know, it's funny. I sent a message over to Micro Center about it, and I mentioned not specifically Orlando, but like having midpoint, like at least have one over like over at least like West Palm Beach or something, like the midpoint of Florida. It would be perfect. So because then both sides could travel to it, and because the one they have in Miami, as you know, is very further down south. It's like South Miami, like all the way down south Miami. And not everyone in Orlando is going to appreciate a drive like that, especially that's going to be like almost like a 3.5 hour drive, I would say, maybe longer. And 3080s are going down in price and might become the budget meta for used GPUs. Absolutely. It's insane because 30 series is actually a great series to currently have. In fact, even on the stream build right now, just to give you an idea how having a CPU is more important than having a GPU when it comes to streaming wise, is that I currently am streaming off of a 3080, but the gaming build that I have has like a 5090 in it. So I'm not even touching that. So just to give you an idea that the 30 series is still excellent, even if you want to do something like streaming. So I wish I had one in Central Florida. Yeah, they really should. And make sure your PC is set to the output to the highest frame rate your monitor supports. I know people did not realize that they were only getting 60 hertz on gaming monitors. That's very true. That happens more often than people actually realize. Is something like that. Like they'll end up gaming on 60 hertz thinking that they're getting great frame rates. But if you go into your actual game settings, you'll know right away because it'll tell you how much of a refresh rate you're getting. So anybody who does get a PC or is just getting into PCs, make sure to go into your game settings and check your refresh rate. It'll actually tell you if you go under usually it'll be under the graphical settings, and it'll be under your display, and it'll tell you how much of a refresh rate you're getting. Also, you can just go to your desktop as well, right click it, go to your display settings, and then from there, it will also give you your number of how fast your refresh rate is. If you're not too sure how fast your refresh rate is on your monitor, you can always check the model number, just search it up and see exactly what comes up. Some monitors will have the features where you can go into the info side and it will tell you how fast your monitor is. But do you trust MSI AIOs? Honestly, that's a great question, champ. For MSI, their AIOs are pretty decent for the most part. I have had no real issues with them. I'd say I had their 360 AIOs from the builds, and so far I didn't really see any failures. The biggest concern to me when it comes to MSI AIOs is for people who have like a hybrid of RGBs, and then it won't really match their system. Then they're forced to use something like Open RGB or Signal RGB in order to sync their system. Then it would be a bit better for them. But for the most part, they're pretty decent. I haven't really seen any failures. They've been reliable for the most part. Most AIOs are. The only ones that I really don't trust is I don't like Enermax personally. I haven't seen Enermax do really well. I've seen it get to the point where it doesn't cycle well, where it doesn't get the proper flow. So, but other than Enermax, I feel like a lot of AIOs out there are pretty decent for the most part. Can I send a list of what parts I'm gonna get and see where I can be frugal? Sure. One thing that everybody can tell you is definitely check out you don't want to cheapen out on a power supply. Power supply is one of those items where you feel like you can cheapen out on, but don't, because that's like your key component when it comes to your PC builds. And if that fails, you can't even really game on it. It's going to, yeah, you're going to really notice it. It's going to start shutting off. You won't be able to power up your PC, and you don't want to get through that part. So Champ says, did you forget about their scandal back fail rate? Yes. Actually, now you're giving me reminders. You're giving me nightmares now. Oh yeah, AM4 is still surprisingly still relevant even to this day, which is it's quite surprising. Display settings advanced for refresh rates. That is a good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Champ. Always appreciate you. Can I send, and we will take a look at that list. Never mind, I got it. It's on there. All right, perfect. So if people need a case PSU, the Rose Helium Flow is on sale for $89.99, and it comes with a 750 watt B plus rated PSU. That's honestly not bad. And again, also you want to make sure before you do purchase a 750 watt PSU, make sure you're not putting a 5090 on it. You want to make sure to get the correct power source, the correct usage out of your GPU. If you're getting something like a 9060 XT, you would certainly get away with it, even possibly with a 9070 XT, but they're a bit more of a power hog themselves. They're like at 320 watts, like depending on which one you get. And but make sure you count up your wattage, and it's very easy to do. And you could easily do that with like a PSU calculator that they usually have, like on Newegg or any of those sites. They usually have it. And if you need one, I'll send you one. Or even PC Parts Picker even does it for you when you create a list one for them. So 3 years ago, a few tech tubers put out a video about failed MSI AIO. Luckily, I did not get through that issue. What's up, Egyptian? I'm sure Egyptian can tell you. Did you have any problems also with the MSI AIOs, out of curiosity? It seems like they're trying to clear their name, if anything. For the most part, it's a good sign that we're seeing like 4.5 eggs, I guess you can call it, 4.5 egg reviews when it comes to it. That deal was on Newegg, yeah. So the reason why I had this up is because they had a deal. If you bundle up your CPU, you can bundle a CPU up, a 7800 XRD for example, with the ASUS TUF Gaming B850 Plus Wi-Fi, and then it comes with the MSI cooler for free practically. So you don't pay anything for it. I'm not saying you have to get it, but this one's not. It's not a bad deal. And it's not the best deal either. Because again, like the 220 is pretty much the average price for a ASUS TUF Gaming B850. I'm surprised it's not a better deal where it's a bit lower. I never. Oh really? You never used anything MSI? That's funny. Yeah, because I'm curious about the fail rate because I built 2 of them so far, like two like full MSI builds, like with MSI cooler, MSI MSI board, MSI everything. I've only done 2 builds like that, but luckily I've never got any like callbacks or anything for them. So I'm assuming everything went well. I hope for the most part, because it would suck if they're like, oh, we're not going to use this guy again because he gave us a bad PC build. But for the most part, I haven't had any issues when it comes to that. But it is funny though. Newegg does want to bundle it with you. 90% of TRYX AIOs leak. Really? I haven't used any of those. I love MSI for motherboard GPUs and PSUs, but the cooler and case market, is not trustworthy. It's funny because their case is also really popular. It's not a bad looking case. I think it's the Gunner 110, I think it is, right? Let me see. I'll show it to you guys. Gunner, I think it's like this. Gunner 110. MSI. It's MSI. I don't even know how they spell it. It's like a weird spelling. MSI case, I'll just look up. And yeah, Gungner. That's what they call it, the Gungner. And I've done a couple cases like this. Thank you, Carla. Yes, thank you for... Yeah, so if you guys aren't part of the channel, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like this video. It really helps and push out the video out there and push out the stream. Make sure to join in the Discord as well. Thank you for reminding everybody. And the Egyptian Savage, I had to order today for $28.50, but he said choose the case, so I don't know what to choose for him. Oh, okay. 20, and you have a tough choice when it comes to a case. What kind of case does he like? Is he preferring something more like a, I don't know, like, is he prefer like more of like a display case, like kind of like an all glass case, or is he more of like an airflow guy? Build a give budget PC under 10. Oh, we could do that. It wouldn't be hard actually. Set my PC list on Discord. Definitely will check that out, Chris. I put the build up in Discord. Okay. We're going to go into Discord real quick, guys. It looks like we have a lot of the fan bam wanting to show off their parts. Okay, so this is eWorld X. Welcome, eWorld X. Welcome to the Discord. I appreciate you joining in. And here we are. This is, so far, that the build that he has here. How about a motherboard for 9800 X3D and 5090 build, sim racing rig and adventure? Oh, that's a good one. Slim Shady, I will get right back to you. So right after I read this list, he has a Gigabyte B850M, AORUS Elite Wi-Fi 6E Ice AMD. That's a beautiful motherboard. I love Gigabyte's Ice boards. They are really spectacular. Now the AM5 Skill Trident Z5 Neo RGB series, DDR5 RAM, 6000 mega transfer, CL30 as a Thermaltake Tough Power GT. Again, that's an underrated PSU, I have to say, but they are great. The only thing I say about when it comes to Thermaltake Tough Power PSUs, I can keep saying GPU, their PSUs is when you put the PC to sleep, you'll hear the fans kick on. Don't panic, that's normal. For some reason, they like to do that to kind of cool off, and then it will get silent. Thermal Rights TL okay, the reverse fans I can accept when it comes to Thermal Right. They're a bit sketch when it comes to other items though. So when it comes to their fans, I would say yes, that's okay. Crucial P310 2 terabytes, not a bad drive. More than likely you probably got a great deal on it. And let me know if so far you've done pretty decent. That's actually really decent. Now, if you're trying to cut corners, you're trying to save a little money, don't get the RGB RAM. Instead, go with the G.Skill, the G.Skill Flare, where it doesn't have the RGBs, and you will actually save, like, it depends on how tight your budget is, but you'll save like $30 if you get non-RGB. And we got S55 here. This is our guy here with the crazy build. Oh, your dad retired? Oh, wow. Good for him. I gotta say congratulations to your dad, Carla. Pure performance, no aesthetics needed. Ryzen 9 9950X3D, NZXT 420mm Kraken, NZXT X870. Now NZXT, that is, how do you like it? I have to ask. I know I was just slamming them earlier, but how do you like it? G.Skill Trident Z Neo 6000 mega transfer CL28. That I'm gonna go back, so I gotta cut back on some stuff. Sure, I'll definitely look over your list a bit more and see what else we could do. Let me know how much more of a cut you need, because I think 30. So far, we just cut $30 off your list. I know you probably need more. He has a 5090 AORUS Ice, 4 terabyte Crucial T500 SSD, Lian Li, 1300 watt Edge PA. Oh wow, that's killer right there. An NZXT H9. Man, you know how to match. I got to tell you, you are very good at putting together your parts. How many PCs have you built? I got to ask. Or has your guy built? Because that's excellent. Let's take a look. This is it in action. Right there. That is sick. Take a look at that. That is sick. That is looking clean, I gotta say. Oh man, yeah, that's a good match. You did great there. That's awesome. Yes, we got some. We really do got some bowlers here. I'll go and with the Be Quiet Like Base 600 with the Lee Infinity fans. Egyptian, that is a great choice, I have to say. Those have you guys seen the Infinity fans? Because they are fire. They are amazing. And that was your first custom build. That's insane. Because S55 just responded that all white build was his first build, and I gotta say you did great. Most people, I'm telling you, go through their first build. You'll have, of course, you're gonna love it because it's your first build. It's nothing like it, and some people just have like a wired mess, and have something a little bit off. But man, you nailed it. You definitely nailed it, and it had to feel good putting that together. So, Mike Palantano says, have you seen the new Corsair Air 5400? I did, and that is sick. I did see that. I'm very interested in it, by the way. Check out the project. I'll ask what it's called. Sure thing. And to get back, somebody just asked a question. They wanted to know a good motherboard, right? Slim Shady asked for the for a motherboard for the 9800 X3D and 5090. You want to take full advantage. I agree. Go with the ASUS X870E e-gaming motherboard. That is an excellent choice to go with. Now, if you were to pick it out, it looks something like this. The X870E e-gaming motherboard. It's made by ASUS. It's a really wonderful board, I gotta say. For the most part, and for the pricing. Because it does have a lot of really neat features on it. For this motherboard, as it does actually have a 5 gigabit port for those who are looking for like a higher speed internet, especially for anyone that is looking to do any sort of like type of streaming. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free. Yeah, and guys, you don't even have to ask. Feel free to upload your photos of your PC builds, videos, whichever, and I will gladly show it into the stream. Because that's what we are about. We are a PC community. For anyone who wants from me a white PC, I just say AceRock X870E Bro RS, $179. That's actually a great deal. So my question to you, Egyptian, would you be willing to put a 9800 X3D into a board like this? I know specifically the AceRock boards, it was just the Thai cheese, right, that had the issue with the socket burning up from what I've known or seen. We had one guy that burned up their 9800 X3D twice off of a AceRock white Tai Chi board. So M long AMD. So micro ATX for not necessarily. You can use the micro ATX streaming. It says you don't. Okay, so for anybody, I will answer your question right back to your world. For anybody who comes into Discord and says that they don't have permission, go up to the side. I will show you guys. We'll get into the Discord server here. You guys just have to go up to the rules, and let me try to pull it over here on the vertical. I apologize on the vertical side. I'm trying to move it around. Where is it? It's hiding on the vertical side. Trying to pull it up, guys. And let's see. There we go. Huh. I will. Okay. Well, anyway, the point is you want to go up to the rule side. And when you go to the rule side, you just have to hit the check mark right down there on the bottom of the Discord page, and then you have the permission to go into Discord. Hopefully you see it if you're on the mobile app. if you're on the mobile stream, I apologize. I will work on getting that up. For some reason, my screen has got lost, so I'm going to remove it, and then I'm going to throw Discord back in. So let's see, capture, window capture. There we go. It's going to look like, going to make it bigger for you guys. It'll be right there. It's going to be the rules up on the top. Let me just drag that down. It's an awkward position here. There we go. It's going to be up there. You're going to see the rule side. Just click it, and then you're going to hit the check mark. That's right over here on the bottom of the page. And then once you do that, then you could go in and you could go to the general side, or you could go to the battle station side to post up your photos or videos. And that's how you can join the Discord. So let me get out of that, and we will go back into the browser side. So let's see. So to answer your question, so micro ATX for streaming is bad? No, not necessarily. It's not really bad. It's not really bad to get a micro to get a like anything like an MATX or anything like that, or ITX. Just know that you'll be limited to expanding. So you can do it. You can certainly do it. But if you want more capabilities, it's always better to get a bigger motherboard, because then you can always expand, which you will certainly learn about once you get a bigger board. You won't regret it if you certainly get like a full PC build out of it. Hopefully that answers your question there. But yeah, I put a 7600X, a 7800X3D, and a 9800X3D in it before. The NZXT motherboards work. The ASRock makes these. So it's just Tai Chi. I figured that. I figured it was just the Tai Chi side. So what is bottleneck? I keep hearing from people. That's a great question. You might hear this terminology, which is, where is it? So I can highlight it. So Mike asked about what is bottleneck. He's always heard this terminology. What that means is, for example, you get a great GPU. For example, you get like a 5090, right? You get the top of the line GPU. Bottleneck is where you get a CPU where it has way less power, way underpowered, and you would get it like, say, something like like say if you're still an AM4, and you get like something that is like a 5600, just a standard 5600, and you get a 5090. That's going to create a bottleneck, because that it's going to create what's called a CPU bottleneck, because it doesn't have the capability to help correlate with the whole GPU. And it can happen the same way, vice versa. If you get an underpowered GPU, it can also happen to the CPU as well. Like you could get a great CPU, and then you have like a weaker GPU, then you would have a GPU bottleneck as well. So those are what bottleneck is. What it does is it can't push beyond a certain limit, because your system won't let it. So if your CPU can only push so much, your GPU also can only push so much. And you'll notice it too, because it's going to have like the utilization will be off. Like your GPU should be at 100% utilization, for example, and then if your GPU drops down to like, say, like 70%, 65%, and then you see high utilization in your CPU, like 45 to 50%, then you have an indication that's bottlenecking right there. So can you send the Discord? Sure, I will send out the Discord to everybody out there. Also, for everybody who doesn't know, it's also down in the description box down below. So, hey bro, 9950X3D and MSI Trio 5080, is that good pairing up for streaming? Absolutely. That's actually a great combination to work together there. Whose BIOS is more beginner friendly, MSI or ASUS? About to build my first PC, been a PlayStation guy. I gotta say, first off, congratulations, Slim Shady. Big congrats. I honestly prefer to go with ASUS more, because they actually have an easy mode. Most BIOS has a easy mode now, which is certainly can help, especially in a first-time user experience. I feel ASUS's easy mode is certainly the easiest way to learn in the beginning. And then once you get a bit more familiar, you can go into the advanced mode, which it doesn't sound as advanced as or as crazy as it sounds, but then you can start messing with the settings then. But I would highly suggest going ASUS for that route. But if you're going, and let me find the Discord real quick, guys. Also, if anybody is trying to find my Discord, you could go to chrismizo.com. And I have the Discord right on it. It will be right here. Just click the Discord icon. I'll be right there. Hopefully the link highlights. Just click that website. And you're going to see up on the top, you're going to see a Discord icon. Hit that Discord icon, and that will take you straight into the FanBam link. And if you don't want to go to the website, you prefer going to the description box, it's also down there as well. And that will certainly take you to the FanBam. But again, it's just like this. It's chrismizo.com, just like how it's spelled. And let's check out Discord to see if we have the PC posted. So let's see. Hopefully you guys were able to get in okay. If anybody has any issues getting into Discord, feel free to let me know. Most of the time, the case is like you have to go to the rule side of Discord. If you go to the rule side of Discord, that generally will resolve your issue. Just hit that check mark, and then you're pretty much good to go and enter in. But yeah, so speaking of which, let's go back to this stream browser here, because what we were talking about was the ASUS gaming motherboard. Again, a wonderful board, very easy to work with. Some people are definitely afraid of this thing right here, and you're probably wondering, what am I pointing out here? And what I'm pointing out here is the whole graphics card side, because it's practically buttonless. Really not really as hard as it seems to install or remove a GPU. The trick is that most people, what they do naturally, because if you dealt with the motherboard before, you're going to typically try to pull the front end side. If this was the motherboard here, you typically pull on this side on most motherboards. But the trick is when you pull the GPU from anything that's buttonless like this one, you pull from the back end first instead. Now, some cases they could have problems with it, like where they don't really have the correct clearance. And when they don't have the correct clearance, then you can get an issue with pulling out the GPU. But as long as if you pull from this direction and you pull up, it should be able to pull out pretty easy for the most part. And it's also really easy to install. The other features that it does have is the Nitro RAM, which is a nice feature that they certainly do have. With the Nitro RAM, what it does is it actually has a better connection to the RAM with the gold fingers for your RAM, which are the little gold pieces down on the bottom of your RAM. And it causes frictionless contact, which gives you a much more cleaner contact and much better communication when it comes to e-gaming motherboards. Also, I mentioned that it does have the 5 gigabit connection, which you can take full advantage of. The only, I would say, the downgraded part from the X670E is that the audio drivers are going to be a bit different. It's a different type of Realtek driver that they use when it comes to ASUS's e-gaming X870E. But other than that, everything is much more improved for the most part. Even the heatsink's a bit better. It's actually built quite a bit better compared to the original part. So let's see. Let's go back here. And hopefully the connection's good. Okay. And so this one's a great option to go with. They do have a couple deals here. I see that they have the X870E Hero. I've done a review on this motherboard. It's been actually a great one. There's something that I'm really looking forward to share with you guys. I'm really excited to go with this Project Stealth. Well, not really this stealth build, which is going to be called Project Ninja. I said Project Stealth. But Project Ninja is going to be practically a full PC build. And this PC build will not only... Let me see. Okay. I apologize for that. The PC build is also going to contain... the PC build's also going to contain some really interesting parts, I gotta say, and I can't wait for them to get here. I've actually contacted a couple of brands out there in order for this to happen. It's gonna take a little bit longer than I expected, but I really look forward to it. But it's definitely going to be something exciting. Everybody is certainly going to want to see. If there's anything you personally want to see in something in the stealth build, feel free to let me know, or a case that you would like to see. I heard somebody just mention Corsair's 5400 case, which is a awesome case. That was one of the cases I was looking at. For actual design is a case that I'm certainly looking at for a stealth build, but it's going to be interesting for the most part. So going back here to Newegg, let me see. So going back here to Newegg, what their deal is currently is their combo kits. You can certainly take a look at their combo kits. Theirs is more like customized combos. So they kind of give you an indication if you're doing a PC build here, that if you're taking a look, you can see that it says here that you can get up to $50 off with your selected processors. You can get your motherboard up to $100 off, GPU. Like, you can build a whole PC and they'll try to give you some sort of discount. So I'm curious to see what type of ideas, what type of builds that people would like to go with. So what about you try the SSUPD XUTTEL Black for a Ninja PC? That's pretty dope. Let's take a look at that. I gotta take a look at that, in fact. SSUPD. So let's take a look. That's a good idea. Shuttle. The SSUP. That's actually really nice. See, I like out of the realm cases like this. Is it worth it buying a 9950X 3D to use without a GPU, considering it using only for Corona rendering, which is if you're using it only for that, certainly you can. Personally, if you're not really using it for any type of gaming, or are you planning to game with it later, you don't have to get the X3D portion. You can get the 9950X instead. You'll save a bit more, and you'll still have a AMD what do you call it? You will still have a AMD APU in there. So you still can be able to have some sort of video display even on the 9950X. The X3D is just more or so because you have the extra CCD, which is more useful for if you are going to be using it for gaming. But you can certainly do it. So it has a vertical GPU display. I like that. That is pretty sick. So, but the trick is, this is the part. Should there be any type of LEDs? If this is going to be Project Ninja, what do you think it should have any type of LEDs whatsoever, or should it just be completely blackened out, completely stealthed out? Because I do see it has a LED bar light here. The fans we can obviously change out, but the LED light, maybe we just don't plug it in. Well, it might automatically, it depends how this case is. Or even Thermaltake 550. Okay. I like these ideas. Keep them coming. Thermaltake 550. And this is all, we're talking about Project Ninja right now. We're thinking, this, you know what this reminds me of? This, no LED. Okay. I kind of figured that. Thermaltake CTE E50. I know I'm just going a bit off topic here, but doesn't this remind you of Noctua here? This looks good that it would go well with a Noctua build. Like if you were going full Noctua, this would be it. I think it is based. It's gotta have some sort of Noctua influence, right, for those colors. So I have been having a hard time pinpointing a good motherboard. I want to play 1440p and I'm a casual gamer. I'm looking at the Gigabyte X870E AORUS Elite. Any thoughts? An excellent board to get. It's not very expensive. It's like about, you could probably get it for under $300 for that board, right? I think it's about for the AORUS Elite. That's actually an excellent board because I always get the AORUS Elite and AORUS Master. The AORUS Master is the more expensive version, but Elite's like a really good board for you as a casual gamer. Even a B850 would honestly do great if you're just casually gaming, but if you want to get, but if you get a PC, you're going to end up probably gaming a lot more. So I'd say the X870E would certainly be the way to go. So LED spills non-stealth. Yeah, true. Yeah, you'll be able to spot it, right? So the 9950X also runs with a GPU. I'm afraid of having running other stuff like 3ds Max. What do I think? Is it better to invest less on a CPU and get a GPU? So if you're using things like 3D Max, then see, it's going to all depend on what you're using to render. So if you're a renderer, you're going to render more. It's best to invest more into a CPU. But if you're using things like 3ds Max, it's good to have a bit of both. It's good to have, like, say, a 9950X and you don't have to get the X3D, 9950X, and then get something like a 5080 to start off with, the 5070 Ti, 5080, because you're going to be doing like 3D renders. So you're going to have to need a pretty decent GPU to do that. Now, if you do it solely off of just the CPU, you're not going to have a great time doing it. So yes, there is black. I know, I apologize, Egyptian. I was just going out of curiosity. I was like, this looks a bit like Noctua. But, so let me go back here. I know that there's like something like this, right? And I see that, because this is a stealth build, let's take a look. CTE E550 right here. Something like, this is the TG though, right? Not bad. We just got to remove this, change it out, and we'll change it to stealth fans. And another goal that we want to do is we want it to be completely silent. We want it to the point where you don't know that the PC is even on. That would be pretty dope, right? Newegg has a ASUS TUF RTX 5090 for $2K plus shipping. Seems like a good deal. Is it worth it, or is it better for me to spend on a overclock 5090? A Newegg is 100% trustworthy. Make sure you go down to the description box and the links. I actually have everything linked down there, and it's a great website to go on. Only thing to me personally that's sketchy, it's not about ordering stuff on Newegg. You'll get your stuff. You won't have that problem. Only thing that I've had a problem with Newegg was when it comes to PC cases. Don't order PC cases on Newegg. It seems like every time I ordered a case off of there, it somehow gets damaged. But if I order from Amazon, I don't have that issue when it comes to PC cases. Everything else from Newegg seems like it comes in good condition. It's just PC cases I have an issue with. Which motherboard do you recommend for a 9950X? So for a 9950X, I would recommend something more. You're definitely going to need an X870. So you're going to want to get something more that is like, say, something like the Hero, or you want to get the X870E Carbon, or you want to get the X870 AORUS Master. That's, again, those are like some of the top ones I can say. If you want to go full out, you have the budget to spend, you could go crazy and buy the crazier boards, but again, those aren't necessary. I feel like any X870E motherboard will certainly do the task that you need it to do. All the other ones, the higher end ones, they're going to be more for those who are into like overclocking, which obviously is not going to be on your to-do list, I bet, if you have this PC build put together. So it's kind of overrated for the price. Little tip, put your cam on top of the screen so we can see you from the chat. Oh, okay. So let me see. You want it over here? Okay, sure. On top of the screen so we can see you from... Yeah, sure. I can move it over. White or can sometimes be cheaper if you build tight. Right. So I can move it over. Would you guys prefer it like this? Because I can move it like that. Or are you talking, but that kind of takes up space, I feel. Like for when it comes to horizontal, you're probably talking about the... You're probably talking more or so about the vertical side. which I can certainly mess with later. But I gotta say, if you want to see the build is on, maybe go for open air. Yeah, true. The other option that we had here was the Corsair 5400. Corsair 5400 was this one here. Not 6400. It's going to show me something else. Corsair 5400. This was their new case. This is pretty dope. The only one they had was a white one. They have a black version of this too. But this looks quite amazing. It's like a different, as a whole triple chamber. That's what it was about this Corsair case, which is pretty dope looking, right? So the big trick is, like, when you open this up, it comes apart just like this. You can pop it open just like that. And then I like this part, like it has a separate pocket, which is pretty decently deep. And it's also BTF friendly for anyone that wants to do like any type of BTF build, that you have that type of option here. And again, it's just, and the airflow with it is quite amazing, like the way they did it. I'll show you guys. Where's it at? Right. Let me see. So the featured triple chambered design, the Air 5400 packs a unique airflow design. When compared to dual chamber cases, our Air 5400 allows all of your components to be cooled for fresh intake of air rather than recirculating warmer temperature air. So equipped with full wraparound glass exterior, the Air 5400 gives a flawless views to your treasured build, easily to admire less visible cables thanks to Gigabyte's X870E AORUS Stealth Ice. So the AORUS Stealth Ice, it looks like they also built it with, see, the Stealth line when it comes to Gigabyte is their version of BTF. So all the connectors are in the back. So actually I use my PC almost only for Corona, which is CPU based, right? So with a used at 3060 due to a budget is an Ryzen 9 7900X with a 5070 better, or a 9950X with a 3060. Honestly, I would say between those two, I would say if you have to choose between them, I would say the 7900X and the 5070 would be the better option to go, as that would certainly fit your needs a bit more. Now, that honestly, the 9950X is better, but the 3060, if you use it exclusively just for Corona, I would use the 9950X with the 3060. You can always upgrade the GPU in the future if you have to, but get the better CPU, you won't regret it. So AC, what's up, AC? Glad to see you. Welcome in. I'm glad to see you here. We were just talking about Corsair's newer case, and we were thinking of different options of when it comes to this stealth build that we have coming up. But this one honestly doesn't look bad. It's a Gigabyte stealth board, and man, it just made me think I should have asked one of my guys about this, because I really want to do a BTF build with you guys too. I think that would be awesome. I remember seeing that they had this in black too. Let's see if we can find one. Yeah, here it is. It's also on Corsair's website. But here it is. It gives you a small indicator of it. No problem, author. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Would highly appreciate it. Definitely helps the stream get out there. But this is the black one. Gives you a little indicator of it. But don't you like that, how they have that duct there? That's pretty dope. And even here, it still manages to get airflow through, which is pretty nice. I would get a case like this if they weren't super expensive. Yeah, this case is probably, to be honest, this case is probably going to be on the high end side. It's probably going to be like at least maybe 300 if I were to guess. But this is BTF friendly, which is, again, a very nice. I put a couple of pics on Discord with specs. Okay, we'll definitely go on there to check it out. Let's take a look at Viali's build. We're going to go into Discord here. which I'm just about to open up. And let's go here to the general side. We got Viali's build here, which is going to be a Ryzen 9900X. And it has a ASUS RX 9070 Crosshair X870E Hero. Oh man. 64 gigabytes of Kingston Fury B, 6000 megahertz, be quiet silent loop 420 millimeters, and Samsung's NVMe, 3 SSDs, Antec, Seasonic, signature titanium 1000 watt PSU, be quiet light base, 900 and 32-inch Ultra Gear monitor. Now that is looking stylish and dope. I am liking it. Hopefully you guys got that headphones up there. That is really nice. That is looking good though, I gotta say. And you definitely know how to put your parts together. I like that little ASUS symbol that you got right down there too. Proud ASUS builder there. Oh, you got one up here too. That's pretty funny. But yeah, that is dope. That's amazing. I like that build. And I gotta say, how are you liking the RX 9070? So, Satirical Gamer says, I just built my new PC yesterday and I'm loving it. That's awesome. Did cable management today once I knew everything worked properly. What was it like? Was it crazy? Was it all over the place? You just wanted it together to see if you could get the power on? That's awesome though. Well, what are your specs of your build so far? How are you liking it? And also, just like everyone mentioned here, if you first built your PC, don't forget to turn on your either your Expo or your XMP. Assuming if you got AMD, you want to turn on your Expo. It can be possible to make sure something like that with good math and a 3D printer when it comes to the airflow guide. That's true. But you just have to have a massive 3D printer to build up a case. But it would be amazing. It would be fun to do, right? So remember that Be Quiet 600 PC case with the fans, just saw it and how it looks. And I think I want to buy another for me. It's better than my PC case. You know, I honestly thought about swapping out cases too, because I have the ASUS Tough GT501 case. Had it for years. I love the case. It's great. It's awesome. It's very easy to carry and everything. But I thought about upgrading the case to myself because it's a bit outdated with the USB ports. And the TRX 40 board obviously is well ahead of its time because it has USB-C ports that I could take full advantage of. And this case does not currently have that. Would love to have that connected with it. And definitely would like to get even more airflow through, especially through a Threadripper build like this. And but that would be great. That would look. I would 100% support you on that, Egyptian. So, but on a different note, I think I'm mostly going to upgrade to a 9060 XT, Ryzen 9 5900X, more storage and easier to cable manage with. Absolutely. So, and I gotta say, let's take a look at Slim Shady building my first PC this weekend. Best piece of advice. Best piece of advice is pray to the PC gods that this will come out correctly. No, I'm just kidding. The first piece of advice I would say is when you're doing your first PC build, I highly recommend don't forget the thermal paste. Most important part is number one for your CPU. Number two is build most of your PC outside of the box. Put your CPU in, put your RAM in, put your NVMe in. Just don't put the GPU in yet. If you have a fan cooler for your CPU, you can put that on. If you don't, you could get ready to put the plate for your CPU cooler if you're using an AIO onto your CPU and then install it into your case. It will make it way more easier and less hassle for you to put all the components in in the PC case. So it's a lot easier to install a lot of the extra stuff outside, like again, the NVMe, the RAM, the CPU, the backplate if you're using AIO, or the fan on the CPU while it's out of the box, and then you can put it into the case afterwards. That would be the best advice I could certainly give. So I searched it up, and YouTube and found a short of it, and I want it. Be as steady as possible. Thermal paste, yes. Getting it on your motherboard, again, that is important. Also, do not, I know I'm mentioning the thermal paste real quick. Don't be generous. Don't be overly generous when it comes to putting the paste on your CPU. The more less you put on it, the better. I typically like to put a pea size onto the processor, and then put the fan or put the plate on, the cold plate on, in order, then it will spread over time. But yeah, just put like a pea size in, or some people like to spread it on to the CPU, but everyone has their preference. But personally, to me, I like to put the pea size dot right directly in the middle, and then it just spreads on its own. So with the 8 Lian Li fans and the PC case, the Lian Li streamer cables were $304.97. But those cables are nice. But you know what's the crazy part is, say if it really does become big, the whole situation when it comes to like the BTF builds, like if more and more people get into it, it seems like less people will be less intrigued to purchase those type of cables. But it does take away the nice art form it does have when you do have those like streamer cables. I really do like them, especially on like if you definitely want to show off like your GPU cables or your ATX cables. I've always liked how they looked. So on AM4, I usually did a slightly large P size dot. They should just make a P size. Yeah, really. Like just make it. You know what they should do? Like almost like pellets. You know, have like just pellets. Like have a tube and have pellets of the thermal paste, and as soon as you push it, it just has like a pretty much the size already of the pellet, so it drops onto the CPU, and then you can just simply put it on instead of like a tube of, because it'll come out like toothpaste if you keep pushing it practically. So just be really mindful when you're pushing it, and also just do a practice push. Like do like a little practice push in on the side, not on the CPU, but on the side, like on the tissue. Some of them you'll be surprised how sensitive they are, because you would be surprised on how much comes out when you really push onto that thermal paste. But the RX 9070 with all the tweaks done scores time spy. That's impressive. That's really impressive, actually. 25651 is pretty decent. How are you liking? How's your temperatures, by the way? 420 millimeter radiator really makes a difference. Also, Mizo, if you did play Borderlands 4, what FPS? You know, that's a great question. I actually have one of the guys here. They played Takuma. He's actually got Borderlands 4. Has pretty much similar specs like I do, and he was only. What's up, Wasabi? Just made it home from the gym. Watched a little bit of. How was it on X? I gotta say, Wasabi. I'm just curious because I don't really see too much comments come from the X side, but apparently he was getting up to about like 140 frames. This is with a 5090, and this is with frame generation on and with reflex on and everything. So on 4K display. So that's 140 4K display with frame generation and with also with what was it? With NVIDIA's reflex on and DLSS. So you have all those settings on in order for it to really kind of run smooth on 4K. So you can imagine how rough it would be without all those settings. So, oh, perfect. I'm glad to hear that. Is it better to stick to the same? I'm glad to hear. How was your workout, Wasabi? Because I remember you were saying that you were just recovering from the gym. I can't wait to get back to the gym myself. I really got to get. I can't wait to get some deadlifts in. You know. So, is the 1421 on the MSI Edge Ti X870E sufficient? Absolutely. Don't let. The funny thing is when it comes to the VRM, it's actually well oversaturated. Many motherboards have way too many VRMs, actually. Most of the time, you're not going to even hit 7 of them. So it's going to be sufficient. Don't worry. So AC4894 says, do you know what the FPS was at native no frame gen? I'm not too fond of the bells and whistles. I agree. Native wise, I can definitely look it up. Again, actually we could go in his video and look it up. He actually has it. It's a bit lengthy of a video, so we definitely got to kind of seek and look for it. But he does have it up on his page. More than enough, but the price you can get better. No problem. So let's go look on his page. He actually posted it on Discord here, and I'll go pull it up. But he definitely had it. Let's see. It was quite incredible. And once I get it, I'll definitely share it in the chat because it was a bit crazy. Right, where is it? I think it's further up. Borderlands 4. Oh, you know what? Let me just go into my YouTube and find it. So, did leg day today. No squats. My left knee felt pretty good. I did single legs with knee sleeves. Those knee sleeves are a lifesaver too, for sure. It makes a difference, especially when you're recovering from injury. That's what I want to try, Egypt. I want to see how the back necks are. I want to see if it feels a bit crowded or if it feels a bit more better. I feel like, personally, I think it would definitely fit better onto like a case like this. It would have to be roomy in order for me to enjoy it. Otherwise, you know how some cases, they give you very little back room when it comes to it. So I remember seeing my card get inconsistent 30 FPS with FSR on, even though my rig is above minimum. This is all Borderlands 4 fault, I gotta say. I have no idea what the guy was smoking, because he was saying, if you don't like my game, you could code your own game. So let me go back into just chatting here, and then once we get back onto, we'll go find this YouTube, as I want to show this to you guys right here. Oh, really? He wants to play that game with me. Let me go into this other browser here. There we go. It was right here. So, again, this is on badass settings. So this is on like the highest settings when it comes to Borderlands. He said you can code your own game. what kind of BS is that? Like, you tell that to your customer base. Have a great night, Viali. Hopefully I see you soon. It was good to see you. So let's go into the browser here as we will show Borderlands. Just give me a moment as I'm switching it over to YouTube's side here, so we can definitely take a look at it and we can discuss together about what was going on here. So this is our buddy Simply Takuma here. This is his YouTube, and he practically recorded it, and he was just showing about how it would look with frame generation on. And currently he only had that little frame FPS counter you can see up on the top. He also said the minimum is supposed to get like at 30 FPS and recommended only 60 FPS. So if I'm going to get the game, it's probably going to be... So just to forewarn you, AC, just to let you know, they said on console, even on PS5 Pro, they say it does not run great. Just to give you a heads up before you go out and buy the console version. Just to give you a heads up, AC. So even the ASRock X870 Pro RS 179, same VRM as it is in US. So Chris, I forgot to tell you my temps on the CPU with the Kraken 420 that's excellent. Like for a 9950X3D, that's awesome. You're getting really great temps. That's better than my 9800X3D even. I called Sony to ask. Oh, how much was it, Wasabi? I'm curious. How much was it? So, right now, he said in the first half of the game, the frame gen is off. NVIDIA reflex was off, and graphic settings was set on badass at DLSS on ultra performance. So it's the first half we got to check out. So we'll get a good idea of how it runs. So, so even the console version runs bad. Wow, usually one of them at least runs well with modern games. Yeah, it's really peculiar, right? So the RGB looks pretty good. Let me download a manual to check the lane sharing specs I have on Gen 5 drive. If this is hard, so how hard is GTA 6? Well, the thing is, we could all imagine GTA 6 is probably going to be well optimized. I betcha Borderlands executive said this game, because originally, remember when Borderlands 4 originally first came out, they said that they wanted to push this game so that way that it comes out before GTA 6, because it was expected to come out actually in October. So they said we have to have this game out to release in September. So they practically rushed these developers in 4 months' time to come up with Borderlands 4, and this is what we ended up getting. They ended up getting Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine 5, and they ended up coming out with this. And from what was described, it feels like Borderland 1 graphics just with a updated engine, which was again Unreal Engine 5. So ROG has a ton of Gen 5, absolutely. So do you think they probably would? Honestly, they probably would answer if you just contact them, like act like a regular developer, and if you tell them like, hey, can we lease the engine? See what they say. I'm just curious. I just need to make sure it doesn't split lanes when I'm using Gen 5. So if you're curious, if you're worried about that splitting lanes, just make sure you don't occupy lanes where it interferes with the Gen 5. Now, most of all, if you're really concerned about it, you could go into the settings and make sure that it only gets X16. Make sure it's not an auto. Make sure to set it an X16, and that will ensure that you got X16 no matter what, even if you have something occupying a lane where it shouldn't be. But most motherboards, like I can tell you on ASUS, it's the M.2 and the M.3 you do not want to occupy, because those two will certainly interfere with the X16 on PCI Express 5. Same one with some other boards, some other manufacturers such as Gigabyte. You just have to be aware which ones. I know Gigabyte was actually the same. I think it was M.2 and M.3 as well. MSI, I'm pretty sure they're probably not going to be too far off, but it's usually those two are the suspect ones. I don't think so. It runs on the average about like 128. You can see how jumpy it is. It's running 128 to like about 140-ish, and now he's going into the outside region. Let's go forward a bit, because we want to see more once it gets into the battle scenes, and that way we can get an idea. I've seen a lot of things that Borderlands is poorly optimized. What are some games that are well optimized? Any game that is well optimized, it doesn't use Unreal Engine 5. So any games that you are interested in usually doesn't use it. But there is quite a few games that there's actually one game that actually runs well on Unreal Engine 5, and the only exception we can say for that is what is that game called? Now it's slipping my mind. Expedition 33 actually runs great. You can play games like Kingdom Come 2 is also another great game. Usually games that have their custom engines usually work well. It's like Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, the remake was poorly optimized. Anything that really used Unreal Engine 5. Monster Hunter Wilds wasn't greatly well optimized. There's quite a few on the list, I have to say. Oh, this engine not open to the public. Well, I guess pretend you're an insider. That's all, Wasabi. Just pretend you're an insider. You know what? Just make a profile. Make it look like you're like somebody that's in the biz. And then to try to contact them. Just say you work for some crazy company, make up a name, and say that you're trying to create a game exclusively for Sony or something. But there's a lot of games that actually play really well on PC. It's just like you do have a few that are pretty bad. Battlefield 6 actually ran great. Has anybody played that? Have you played Battlefield 6? You would love it on PC. It's actually was the it was a lot of fun. Usually with first person shooters, I got a little bit of the Call of Duty fatigue like everybody else does. And when I was playing it, I felt reinvigorated. It was amazing, I have to say. I can't wait for Battlefield 6 to get released, but that isn't getting released until October 10th. So it seems like once you get to the outside part, it gets a little bit lower. It runs at lower frames, about 115. But again, it's not... Again, you're running a 5090 on a 9950X 3D system here. And this is like a top-of-the-line type of PC build. And it's just pushing around 108 to about 140-ish. So just imagine, like, you're trying to run it on, like, say, like, even... Now, like, having a 5070 Ti is, like, still a great GPU. So it should run great on that as well. It should be even pushing higher numbers, to be honest. Like, why aren't all games like Valorant? Yeah, exactly. 400 FPS on 3050, 6 gigabytes. I mean, like I said, that's why I mentioned Battlefield 6. Like, the specs are not crazy for it. Sure, it requires TBM 2.0. The whole reason for that is because they don't want cheaters in the game. They even added it on Battlefield 2042, so it's still necessary on that game. So, but again, the specifications are not crazy. It doesn't really require a whole lot in order for you to be able to enjoy Battlefield 6, which I'll look. Actually, we could look up the specs just in a second here, and which I would love to share with you guys. So let's take a look. We're going to look up the Battlefield 6 specs. This is how every other game should look. No, we don't want Battlefield 5. We want Battlefield 6. And we'll put specifications. Alright, so this is the official system requirements for the game. By the way, yes, it's Capcom still uses it on the Resident Evil engine. So yeah, that was the thing. I always, for some reason, thought Monster Hunter Wilds was on Unreal Engine 5. Or that was the thing everybody was saying. But that's actually on a whole different engine. And for some reason, it just played really poorly. Okay, so let's go back to the browser here. And this is for Battlefield 6 specs here. So, again, this is what they recommend. So it recommends at least Windows 11. Recommends AMD Ryzen 7 3700X. Again, nothing crazy. It recommends at least a 10700. It also recommends a 6700 XT. Now, these are recommended again. It also recommends, for NVIDIA, it recommends at least a 3060 Ti. For Intel, a B580. And it does recommend, obviously, a online connection, at least 80 gigabytes of free space with TPM 2.0 enabled. So that's like the biggest thing. And then if you go further down here, you can see the minimum requirements are even crazier. Not even as nearly as demanding. So AMD Ryzen 5 2600s, Intel Core i5 8400s. Some of you are like, what the hell is an 8400? It's an old processor. Same thing with the 2600. 16 gigabytes. RX 5600 XT 6 gigabytes. Intel Arc A3. You can play it on an Alchemist card. It also recommends DirectX 12. So, again, not very demanding. And like if we compare Unreal Engine 5, I mean not Unreal Engine 5, Borderlands 4 specs. Now the specifications, right? Recommend it. So it recommends at least an Intel i7 12700, a 5800X. That's kind of demanding there. 32 gigabytes of RAM. And it recommends at least an RTX 3080, a 6900 XT, a B580, 100 gigabytes of available space. Actually, somebody was saying it was actually a lot more demanding than that. And I actually recommend even a 40 series, which is pretty crazy. Like, to really realistically run the game, you have to run something like a 40 series GPU and like 7900 AMD card in order for you to really enjoy something like Borderlands 4, which is insane. Now, again, you compare something that is poorly optimized. Another one, again, Metal Gear Snake Eater specs, right? It's funny, it's on the website. Can you run it? How do you feel about the performance of Borderlands 4 and how Gearbox? I feel terrible. I feel like that is a company that I would not like to purchase a game from. It's practically, they practically saying F you, spit in your face. If you bought it, oh well, you should have a good system. That's practically how they treated their customer base. So yeah, I don't like it at all. If I were to be blunt about it, especially because you should be out there listening to your customers, not insulting them. It seems like a lot of these companies have come to that point. Even Nintendo, which is insane. That still scars my mind about like how they just said about like how Nintendo was like, well, if you don't like the Nintendo Switch 2, if you don't like the performance, just go to the, or if you can't afford it, just stick with the Nintendo Switch, the original one, which is pretty insane for a company to expect loyalty out of their customers. Can you look at the case? Sure. Which case would you like me to look at? No way this is the specs for it. Because that's not demanding at all. 3600 and an RTX 3080. Well, pretty similar actually. That's actually pretty similar. And let me see. Can you send me the case again, Egyptian? And then I can take a look at the case. Let's go and here we go. So that is the specs. So the RTX 5090 ranges from price ranges 2K to 3.5. Is there really that big a performance? I'll tell you right now, I've done a comparison. Actually, just the other week, I think a few of us were here that we compared the AORUS Master with the WindForce, the Gigabyte WindForce. And again, it's not really that much of a difference. You just get a few more extra features if you buy a more expensive GPU. But again, it's not that much difference. The key that you really want to look for is the clock. You want to make sure the clock is on the same page. Other than that, you should be pretty much good to go. For the most part, I can accurately tell you that if you get like say a $2,200 GPU or a $2,400 GPU over a $3,500 GPU, it's not going to be that much of a difference. The features you'll miss are like an extra fan, or you might miss an LCD screen that you have on the GPU. It's nothing crazy. Other than that, most of the time it ends up matching for the most part when we've looked over these GPUs. So I built. So the light base, yeah, sure. Yeah, that is, you know what? That's a great one. Be quiet. Light base. 600. Let me see. On YouTube. They have it on YouTube. Let me go on their website first. Because they might have it on their site. That's really nice. I do like the LED display like that. But you know, it would be like, if you have it in the PC in your bedroom, like the same room, that might blind you though, to be honest. Hopefully they do sleep with the PC, but that is nice though. I've got an ad for Dave's Hot Chicken. Let me see. I'll look it up on YouTube real quick. Let me see if we can find it. YouTube. I thought they would post the video on their website too. Don't get me wrong, frame gen is impressive. Yes, it's not really worth the effort. I don't. I have the 5090 and I never put on the frame gen. That's how I feel about it. Let's go on the short side and see it. Right here, let's take a look. This one looks interesting. And that's all right, Wasabi. I'll see you. Oh, have a great sleep. I'm glad you got your workout then. Thank you for coming in though, as always. My case is the Meshify C Tig, but I want the fractional north since I'm getting the same wood panel on my wall. Oh, let's not get into the wood conversation, right? Remember that, chat? That is sick though. I do like that. I do like how he got how he has everything matching there. What I mean is it's going to have base clocks and turbo clocks when it comes to GPUs, and I'll show you. So if we're going on to let's go into Newegg real quick. Let's go into just chat him right here first. I'll go over to Newegg so I can show you guys. Oh, I apologize. Hopefully that's better. That's probably my positioning here. I gotta adjust it. I gotta move the camera back a bit actually. And I know it's a bit close. I kind of rushed and put everything together. But what I mean by clocks is this. So if you're looking at, say, RTX 5090 WindForce, which I will show you in a second. And let me see. My PC cools my room as like that. It has many fans. Mine feels like it heats it up, to be honest. And what we will do, I like to go on Tech Power Up. That's like a good website to go on because it's very direct. So this is Tech Power Up here. And when you go here, you see up, let's go down. We're going down to here. Let me see. Hopefully right there. And what I usually like to look for is, you see the clock speeds up here? Ooh, let me drop it down. There you go. You see the clock speeds up here? That's what I mean. Like base clock will be 2017, which is roughly about 2.17 or 2.01 really. And then you have a boost clock of 2.46. So you see, and this is like one of their like lower end 5090s, right? So if you compare it to say like a 5090, again, remember these numbers, 2017, right? And 2467. 11 fans broke. I mean, 11 fans, not broke. 2 broke was 13. Oh, that sucks. Hopefully it's under warranty. Let me see. And now we'll compare it to the 5090. And you see, when you compare the clock speeds, right? Not that much different. You see the difference? This is the more higher end version. And you see it's practically nearly the same. So you're not really going to gain that much of a difference between the higher end one. This is, again, you're paying way more for it, but you're not getting... you're not paying really for the performance. You're paying for really the extra bells and whistles that this does have. Like the extra RGB lights, the LCD screen, the extra fan. So you don't really get your value out of it, to be honest. If you get the, say, WindForce version, it's practically the same. It's just going to cost a lot less. You can get an AC for the I do like a flashy PC, but for the last with the full RGB, I've gone low key function to CM and R200p. Just fits and it's slick. My CPU cooler is 16 years old. Oh, wow. Oh, man, to talk about longevity there. That's 16 years old. 16 years old is like somebody's kid already. Or somebody that's like even in here watching. Just as old as them. I bet. Yeah, it's still going to cool it off. I mean, you probably took care of it really well. So, Fam Bam guys, I have to wrap this up because definitely going to do the Saturday stream. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern, as always. And make sure you don't forget to like and subscribe to this live. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I thank you. Thank you, Egyptian. Thank you, Squeeze. Thank you for everyone that's come in. Thank you, Wasabi, as always. Casio. Well, thank you, all of you guys, for joining in to this live. I do appreciate it. And I certainly am excited to do this weekend stream. Hopefully, we can continue talking about Project Ninja. I may be doing another bonus stream coming up soon. It's Wednesday now. I might be doing one coming up on Friday. But I will certainly let you guys know. That one's going to be a bit more on the tech-related side, as I'm going to be talking about the new release of the iPhone. As I know, it's going to be very mixed and going to be a very controversial subject. But again, thank you, Slim Shady. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for subscribing. If anybody is curious about any parts, wants to join the Discord, make sure you go down to the description box down below and make sure to join Discord. Make sure to check out all the accessories, the parts that I do highly recommend. And I thank everybody out there for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again, everybody. And have a great evening.